You know, my time on YouTube has been interesting because I've said some things that people have looked at that were quite controversial, even though I don't think that they were, to be honest with you. Like there's different times where I've said things that, people really were like, oh man, how dare you say that? Or I can't believe you said that. And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't really think that that was a very much of a controversial thing to say. It's just like we've gotten to this point where common sense has gotten, to the point where common sense is now looked at as being controversial for some reason, maybe because it might offend somebody or something. But for me, I've always been an Xbox fan since day one. I got the original Xbox on day one. I got the 360 there. I got the Xbox One, the Series. I got the Xbox One X on day one, Series X on day one. So, I think I've kind of proved my point that, I'm an Xbox fan. And that's why I have such a strong kind of thought process and a strong opinion on what's happening with Xbox. And yes, my videos tend to be positive because I enjoy Xbox, but you can enjoy Xbox and still think that Microsoft is utter crap. And that's pretty much how I look at things. I'm not a huge, big Phil Spencer guy. I think that too many people are quick to give him a free pass when it comes to things. They're like, whoa, he's got Satya over him and Amy Hood telling him what to do. And I always say this, right? Go back and look at any of the stuff that he was saying back in like 2015. He sounds exactly the same, He didn't want, walled gardens and all this kind of stuff. So this is all very much his doing, right? Regardless of anything, he's the one that decided to buy Activision. He's the one who decided to buy ZeniMax. He's the one who decided to do exclusives, no more exclusives. This is all him, right? And you might go, oh, that doesn't make sense. Well, listen, he's the CEO of gaming. You don't put somebody as the CEO of gaming if you don't trust what they're going to say. So to pretend like he doesn't have any input is kind of crazy. And aside from that point, he has over 25 years at Xbox, which means he's well qualified for his pension and he could retire at any point, but he's making $10 million a year plus. And, again, if you really were just in a token spot and not able to have any kind of say so, wouldn't you just retire at that point? I mean, that's what I would do, but maybe Phil is different. I don't know. But anyway, there's some things, that always, for me anyway, I look at and I think, this is pretty cool. I want to talk about this because it's just one of those things where we just kind of have to look at it and go, okay, well, that's good news, and as gamers, I think this is good news. So I want to get into it. What's up, everybody? I'm Crap Gamer, and this is Crap Gamer Reviews with another video. I'm back. I do multiple videos a day, so thank you guys for checking it out. I certainly appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. Really helps out my channel. So again, regardless of how I feel about Phil Spencer, I do think he's kind of a boob or whatever. He did give an update on some games, which I think is cool and worthy of a video. He was talking about giving an update on Everwild, which is the Rare game that was announced way back in 2019. Sea of Thieves Studio Rare first announced their new IP in November of 2019 and released another trailer in July of 2020, but updates have since been elusive. Speaking in a new interview, Spencer claimed that the historic British studio is making progress on the game and named it among his most anticipated projects currently being worked on. Asked to name the in-development games he's most looking forward to, he answered, "I'll get back to what I said earlier. Yeah, State of Decay is just one of the franchises I love from the original one. So that one stays on the board. I do think the work that Double Fine's doing now and how Tim Schafer kind of solicits feedback from the team. And another one I'll say, because I was recently out at Rare, it's nice to see the team with Everwild and the progress that they're making." He continued in the interview saying it's been a while and we've been able to give those teams time in what they're doing, which is good, and they still have a portfolio like we have. It's like the dream that Matt Booty and I have had for a long time, so it's finally good to be able to be there. We can give those teams time that they need. So back in 2021, according to VGC, with knowledge on Everwild's development, claimed that the game's design had essentially been restarted from scratch, meaning it would likely be several years before it released. Now, at the time, the sources claimed that Everwild's development team was optimistically targeting a 2024 release for the game, which would mark a decade of development for Everwild. which spent many years in experimental prototyping. Obviously, the target date has since slipped. In response to an advanced copy of the story, Everwild's executive producer, Louise O'Connor, confirmed the elements of the report, including the appointment of designer Greg Mayles as the new creative director. Xbox's then Game Studios' Matt Booty later said Rare's Everwild team wanted to make sure it had something special before showing the game to the public again. So, I guess that's a smart thing to do. But, again, he's mentioning stuff like, Everwild. He's mentioning stuff like, the aforementioned, State of Decay 3, which rumors had it that game slipped into 2026. But again, they have such a lineup now that it really doesn't matter. I mean, honestly, it's like the perfect type situation, that we see with these things right now. It's just, to me anyway, it's just odd the way that this kind of has kind of happened in terms of, the games coming out. And, I would have liked them to be like exclusives and things like that. But, again, what can you really do? I honestly think that Microsoft is in a weird type situation. And, at the same point in time, I really do feel like, they're gonna, how can they have hardware? I know, like, I'm excited about Everwild and these games, but how can you do hardware without a situation where you have exclusive stuff? Like, it just, honestly, that kind of blows my mind that could even be a thing at this particular point. You know what I mean? Like, the way that he's kind of given up on stuff. Like, if you were going to have hardware, if you're going to have, the way that he's just like, well, we don't care if, PlayStation or Nintendo people buy our console, and they've been telling people not to buy their console for years. So that would kind of make me question what their long-term plan is for, the console. I don't see how. Yeah, nobody's been able to explain this to me either. So I've asked many people, and I'm not being mean about it or anything like that, but if you can really honestly think of a way that hardware can survive with no exclusive games, less third-party games, when the competition is going to have your games, their games, more third-party games, like, I don't understand how Xbox can survive in that kind of environment. Again, it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense to me, and we'll have to see if that's something that changes in the future or not. I feel like Microsoft finally has a point where they have some good games and things, but at the same point in time, it just really feels like maybe it's a little bit too late for that. Maybe people, it just almost feels like people don't care about, like, the Xbox stuff anymore, and I wish they did. I really do. I wish that they had some interesting stuff to kind of tide people over, get people excited about. But, again, it's hard to get excited about the future of the brand when it really does feel like the brand is slowly dying and you're kind of facilitating the end of it, So I hope things can change and that people can, come back around to Xbox being exciting again. That would be fantastic. But, when you have Xbox, the CEO of Xbox saying he's trying not to move people over to Xbox anymore, you have to really kind of go, that's an interesting thing, that's a bold strategy. We'll see how this kind of works out, like that. To me, anyway, that's just how it works. Like, I'm still excited about things, but maybe not as excited as, as I could be, So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, what do you guys feel about this? Are you interested in Everwild? Are you interested in State of Decay? Are you interested in what Double Fine has? I mean, Psychonauts was pretty good, or Psychonauts 2 was really good, in my opinion. So, we'll have to see if that's something that realistically they can continue to build upon. I'd like to see them really do a good job, maybe with something new or something amazing. I would love to see a sequel to, what the heck is that game they had with Jack Black in it? I forget what it is, but that was a really fun game. Would love to see something along the lines of that in a sequel or something. So, what do you guys think, though? Sound off in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up, and I'll catch you guys next time. Rack 'em up, crap gamer out.